Hello, friends and Latinalt family. I am very happy to introduce this exclusive interview right here on the Latinalt YouTube for Latinalt Radio 88.5 HD3 with our esteemed guests, Rey Pila. And today we have Rodrigo and Diego with us today. So, how are you doing, guys?
Hey, all good.
All right. So, for viewers who maybe aren't familiar with you or your music, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your background, where you come from, and how you found your way to music.
Well, we're a band from Mexico City. We've been a band for over 10, 12 years. I don't know, I'm not counting. But we met playing each of us in our different bands. Like we had bands playing in the Mexico City circuit. Diego had Los Dynamite, Güero Chiquita, and then we all met playing shows. And Diego, when he decided to stop Los Dynamite, he started Rey Pila as a solo project, and then we joined to play the first record. But soon, like we became great friends, we became a band, and then we did our second album, The Future Sugar, which Diego says that he counts it as the first album of Rey Pila as a band. So yes, that's our background. We're basically all from Mexico City. And yes.
So, how do you describe your sound as a band?
Ooh.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Shit. I don't know. I was
It's,
trying to think, but I just don't. I just don't know. Yeah.
no, it's good. Actually, like we just had another interview with um from a guy from Chile, and he was asking us not about our sound, but just about like new bands. And Diego was saying this thing that now like genres are they're almost like non-existent. They're all mixed up, no? So when it comes to Rey Pila, like I feel it's that. It's just a combination of everything that we hear, like electronic music, uh, also like I don't know, Italian pop, movies, art.
Interesting.
So it's like yeah, it's a very mixed combination. So it is really hard when it comes to describing our sound because we're in it and we it's hard to step out and see it from like the outside. So yes, it's just like this mix of very different influences, not only musical, that make that like that Rey Pila sound. Because I do think there's a very characteristic sound to Rey Pila.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I bet it's to listen to it. Yeah.
I know that I certainly hear some influences from The Cure. I don't know if they're an inspiration to you, but I love them. I also hear a little bit of Sisters of Mercy. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
really like
yeah.
them, but I I've never I've never written a song based on Sisters of Mercy idea. I just know that one song, Lucretia, My Reflection. I think that's the name of the track, and I
Yeah,
love
that's a
the
good one.
video.
Yeah.
And I love their videos more than the music. I think that their whole visual thing is very cool and interesting. Um, I was actually I'm actually now obsessed with Typo Negative.
Oh, I love Typo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that they sound like they're like a nerd. They're like a very influenced by Sisters of Mercy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
music more. Yeah,
And that just makes me like your music even more because now you made that connection for me. So thank you.
right, right.
Um, so it's actually really interesting that you bring up music videos because that kind of segues into your new EP that you released earlier this year. Um, and the visualizer that you had for Ojos de Terror. Like I love that one. Tell me a little bit about the animation. Like who animated that video? Like what's the story behind it?
We worked with a friend. His name is Jesus Benitez, and he actually he works with a lot of animators, and he has like probably the same, most of the same taste in music that we do. He really likes, you know, goth and 80s goth and stuff. So we talked about doing something that was in that realm and a bit scary and really dark, which is what we like, and doing an animated version of that. And we were just talking about that because the whole concept of the album visually, and at some point the lyrics have to do with cults. So like cults in general, but the sort of romanticized version of it being, you know, like the cult that's trying to, I don't know, wake up Satan, or which is kind of funny, you know, but all of that stuff visually is very strong. So we really like that too.
Yeah. And it does it is part of your visual aesthetic too. Like I know when I was exploring all of your records so far, one of the things that has really jumped out to me is your album artwork, particularly the one for your single Ninjas. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one. It reminds me of one of the movie posters for John Carpenter's Halloween.
It's based on that, actually. Based is
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought so.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that one.
That was
Yeah,
Warren, no?
I think that yeah, that was Warren. Yeah. Um, yeah, actually it's Warren Fu, who's an amazing I would say artist. He directs a lot of videos. He's worked with he did like all of the last like Daft Punk visual imagery videos. And
Oh,
we
love
met
that.
yeah, we met him through our past label called Records. And he actually did the first single that was Alexander, that's also based on like a horror movie, which is Halloween, but it has nothing to do with the Mike Myers Halloween.
Mm.
It's another Halloween. But this one, yeah, we absolutely wanted to continue in that line. We've always been like now we love all those cults and like, but just in the imagery world, no? It's just like really cool. We're not going inside, we're not members of them. Also, like the horror movie thing was kind of that. Like it's just like very visually powerful for us, and like all those like Dario Argento, that lighting, you know, like the very colorful, almost phosphorescent lights. That's also kind of represented in our art. So yeah, the cover for Ninjas, actually, it's the EP is called Wall of Goth, and
Mhm.
yeah, totally came from that. So yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I think your work just really speaks to me because I'm a really big fan of horror, particularly older horror movies like the classic Universal monster movies. I love them. Like
yeah,
that whole visual aesthetic is just it's my bread and butter. So,
totally,
It's really
totally.
cool to explore also, because you have I mean, most of the horror movies are really bad. So you have to
oh
pick
yeah.
you know, you have to pick the ones that are really, really good. And then if you go and I just saw this movie called, did you see Long Legs?
I haven't yet.
Well, I saw it last week, and it's funny, you know, and it's interesting, and it's just fun to watch something that has a horror movie that's written with a lot of research on it, you know, like actually the symbols and the signs and everything that's on the movie counts for something in the whole context of the story. So in that way, I think that symbols are important to the band, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's dive into your EP a little bit. So tell me about sort of the motif I noticed throughout the EP is with a friend request and online soul. Like I'm kind of getting the sense that there's a little bit of animosity towards technology. So, what do you have to say about the lyrical content about this EP?
I think that now, as time goes by, after writing and recording those songs, I think it's just I mean, we're scared of, or scared and preoccupied with the information, you know, like information in general. It's too much information now. It's too much information for everything. And I think that's too much, you know, like now you have the equivalent of the, I don't know, the Alexandria library in your phone, you know, like you can just grab your phone and then you can go in and
Yeah.
I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. It's definitely getting out of hand. So the lyrics are about that, and they're about you know, we're dehumanizing every emotion and every kind gesture, and everything's becoming sort of this filter reality. Everything now has a filter. I've never communed with that thing, and I think that has given us a sort of good perspective on it. You know, like I don't have social media, so because every time I go into social media, like Oscar borrows his phone just to check something, or my girl, and it's everything I see is just like I don't relate to that. I mean, I like it when it's funny, when they has like memes and stuff, but not when somebody's showing me their new bike or their breakfast.
Yeah, and I suppose it is kind of a horror movie that we're all living in anyway, because like you said, we do have this almost unstoppable force of information that just kind of pervades our daily lives. And I think it's really interesting how you illustrate that. And it's also intriguing to me that you don't have social media or anything, which props to you for that. I commend that. But how do you market yourself and your music without social media?
I mean,
We we do have
there's yeah.
Rey Pila does have like an Instagram and all the platforms, but Diego
Mhm.
has
I have a personal account.
he does not have like a personal Instagram or like yeah, we handle ourselves like the IG and everything, but yeah, Diego
Mm.
is out of the loop in like a personal account. Like every other member does have like their personal account, and yeah, but
Mhm.
every time we need to like tag Diego in a photo, it's like
There's
and
no
Diego. It's
there's no
like
Yeah.
bounds of the
at
grid.
Rodrigo, at Andres, and Diego, not just in text. So yes, he's I think his biggest social media is the email. That's like what he's
I'm a big email guy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But how do you sort of promote your work as a band? What do you think you've tried while others haven't that has worked for you?
I would say just be very honest and clear with what we want and what we know the band is about. I think that's
Mm.
something that I see as a characteristic with Rey Pila, because we've been a band for over 10 years. Sometimes, or most of the times, it feels like we're going against what the current tells us what we should do, how we should be writing music, how we should be collaborating. But at the end, we release the songs and we see a very positive reaction and like a very like loyal fan base, I can say, that react to that honesty and to like the way we want to do things visually and musically. So I think that's yeah, I think that we've done I don't know if differently, but something that is characteristic of how we've dealt with things.
Yeah, I really love that because far too often I see artists kind of give in to what the industry is telling them to do, and they kind of compromise their artistic vision and their artistic integrity. And I really respect that you don't let anyone boss you around like that. That's also very admirable. So
Yeah.
my closing questions is what's next for Rey Pila? What's next for this project? Do you have any shows or tours coming up?
We have shows coming up here in Mexico in October, and then we have more shows coming up next year in Mexico, and we are working on getting the band back to the States again, which we haven't been there for a while. We used to tour in the United States a lot. You know, we used to play in LA a lot and New York and open for Interpol and like play a couple of festivals. And now we're trying to get to that place again and releasing new music. The whole album is going to be released on November. And yeah, it's going to be an album after that. We have a lot of music to release.
Yep.
That's exciting. I can't wait to
Yeah.
hear it. What can we expect from that new album?
I don't know. What do you think, Rosca?
So, I mean, there's already a glimpse of it with all these songs we released.
Hmm.
So the new album is just the thing is, like, we stopped for a while, so we have a bunch of songs. And when we came to the decision of, okay, which songs should make the album, like, we had still like 30 songs. And we're like, we have so many songs that we love. So what could, like, people expect? It's a lot of new music, no? A lot of new music. And yeah, we just want to, like, keep on releasing, and yeah, let like, yeah, release all that music that we've vaulted. And even like some of them are old, but some of them, like, we just made like 2 weeks ago. So it's yeah, it's a very interesting and exciting time for us.
That's what happens when you have no social media. You become productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I know sometimes when I take social media breaks, I'm like, wow, why do I feel so good? And it's because I got rid of Instagram
Totally.
for a week.
Listen, it's even hard for me to text. Like, I like speaking with people over the phone. I like to hear the people's voices. That's a
Yeah,
real conversation. It's easier. Texting
yeah,
a lot. It's this in so many ways we're so hyper connected, but so apart from each other.
Totally.
yeah, yeah. We're more connected than ever, but further
Yeah,
apart than we've ever been. And
yeah.
it's sad. But I do hope you guys come to LA very soon because I would love to see you live and in person.
Sure,
Yeah.
we really want to go back. We used to go for 4 times a year to LA to play shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely come back soon. But
Yeah.
all right, we will be wrapping up this interview now. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Right.